Hi folks, Dino Bob here, back in Lost Kingdom Park this time, and we're doing our first Triassic animal, at the moment our only Triassic animal, Coelophysis, for this edition. This time I've decided to feature the feathered skin, and he's nicely posing for us there in this slide. So we'll get to it. Obviously, as is the case with most of these videos, they're going to be a walkthrough. So let's get to it and start in the fountain court. Again, we're going to enter the village plaza, city plaza, whatever, and there are still some green screens closing off some parts of the park. But now you can see the archway straight ahead, which is opposite the entry archway, and with its different color code for its quadrant. And to the left, there is a new building. There's a new statue and some modifications to the dome structure. And a little bit more that we'll see as we move along here. You can see the old sort of shopping area on the left. And as we spin around, we're going to get a better view of the statue. And the building behind it we will come back to. The dome has been modified to represent a performance area. You can see that the space under the dome has been roped off, and it has a spotlight down on the center of it. Apparently I decided to focus on some of the fancy work on that building behind the statue. But like I say, we'll come back to that in a bit. So the performance dome is adjacent to another guest amenities area. You can see this guy popping out from behind that building and walking out around the platform. I did set up a sort of stage background to the area and added some color to the windows in the dome piece. That's a cylinder block there, so it's also the ceiling for the stage area. So we're going to take a little stroll through the shopping area. It's clearly a different portion of this city. We're going to go through an arch to get there. And we've got a different groundwork for the guests to walk on. Eventually I'll probably put some kind of sign over the arch. But I haven't figured out what that'll be just yet. And so on the left there is a restroom, and on the right we have a street vendor stall, obviously a pottery vendor. Not something that's functional in game per se, but it adds to the ambiance of what this area is supposed to be. Apparently he sells baskets too. A closed screen because the thing I wanted to put in there was going to take a lot more work before I could get this video out. So for now it's just closed. We've got on the left a doorway into something. There you see a lot of those in theme parks. There are doors that apparently don't lead anywhere, and some that only lead somewhere for special people, like those on tours or the staff. This archway goes in, and there's a coffee shop on the left and a gift shop on the right. I really wish we had some smaller tables, but I wanted this in for when guests finally will get around to using these things. And a little seating area in the back there. I'd love to see a couple of little tables in front of that, but I didn't have the time to build them before getting this out. Looking along there, you can see there's another stall. This one open to the walkway and these stairs up, and they lead up to a little walkway along the boundary wall. So Lots of shopping, various kinds for the guests in here. Right now, you know, they're a little freaky about how much they'll pay attention to. A couple of eating stalls in a building there, and a seating area to one side with some plants blocking off access to the behind area. You can see a little bit of ambiance there with the vines growing on the wall to make it a little more congenial for the folks eating. As we step through the arch, we're moving into the Triassic area, and spin around to the right, and it's a implied area where tours would take guests. There's an information screen that's turned off in the back, and some seating for them where they would get talk about Triassic animals and the rise of dinosaurs, with Coelophysis as the starring character in it. On the right is the Coelophysis exhibit. On the left, you can see there's a different kind of rock, so, you know, if you're understand dinosaur history, it's a good bet that that's another period. So you can't see a lot of them from here. You'd be mostly hoping to catch them when they move to the most elevated portion of the exhibit. There is a bit of a boundary water thing here. This is why there are a bunch of horsetails here. I don't know whether I've got a good angle of it. And I built a little footbridge. So it goes across the water and comes out to this section of path. And we're going to follow it back around toward the main gate back into the exhibit. There's a little bit of the water, and you can see it disappears under the horsetails more or less straight ahead. I had tried to make an island of this thing, but the water brush is just so huge, it was a problem. So I've got a covered viewing area, and this is the best view into the exhibit. And I can see a dinosaur right now. These guys are little speed demons when they take off across the exhibit. But I tried to give them, over there on the right, a little bit of cave with some hay for them to bed down on. And they can go in there, but we're still waiting for them to use those hay beds. So if we walk down the gallery here, we will try and get another view of the exhibit. You can see that this is representing the outside of the wall, and I think this was probably some kind of ancient bastion. That circling cursor was to show you where that guest tour station was. And the tower that's there now has a gate into the care area for the Coelophysis. The green screen, of course, is blocking off something I don't want you to see just yet. And we're going to cruise down here. And yes, guests coming to prove that they can come along this area. Pop out. There's some bollards with a rope, which is access to something on the other side of the green screen. There are information screens on either end of the viewing gallery. And we're going to go back into the city and take a look at that building I said we were going to come back to as soon as I can figure out how to drive around the pillars. It decided to rain on us, and it adds a little different ambiance. But who wants to stand out in the rain? So let's go inside. This is all stuff from the arid update, and it's raining inside, which is a thing that happens right now. We'll fix that. So here we are inside, quick and dirty interior with some elements of care facilities, standard doors into this screened-in area, which is designed to be segmented in a couple of different ways. We pop inside, and I don't know where he came from. It looked like he came through the wall. And there's a little nesting box back there with a sliding door so animals can be closed in there. And then this drop panel can divide off sections of the habitat. There probably should be another drop panel here, and this is the way out back into the exhibit through that bastion that I mentioned before. So we have time for calling Coelophysis and a little bit of cinematics with the animals as they check out or cruise around their exhibit, give you a chance to see the inside of the exhibit and what some of the views that the animals have are. So this is our fourth animal in the park so far. I am kind of building it with starter animals to start it off because that's how it would work in a challenge, even though I'm building this in a sandbox. And it makes sense. You keep your smaller animals in front. They're exciting to people who haven't seen these things. Some of them are just cool and popular anyway. I imagine the Coelophysis would be much like meerkats are, a lively little animal and interesting to the guests. And bigger and more expensive animals will come later. So that's getting close to the end here for this video. Next time we're going to go past that green screen into an area, and that's the other area that's been screened off from the plaza. So I hope you enjoyed this little bit of tour. The traditional overview shot to give you a sense of how the whole thing fits into the park. And that's pretty much it for me. So drop a like, drop a comment, subscribe, all the usual things if you want to keep me encouraged on doing this. Anyway, I hope you all are well out there and stay kind to each other and continue to be well in these sometimes trying times. So Dino Bob signing off for this week, and I hope to see you again in another video. Bye now.